As we look forward to the 2020 season, Rangers Network is celebrating the 45th anniversary of Smithson Valley High School football by taking a look at monumental plays throughout Ranger history that form the building blocks that shape our foundation for success and weave the tradition that is Ranger football. Head coach Larry Hill has reunited the coaches and players to relive the magical moments one more time. Get your guns up for the year 2004.
Welcome to our show as we continue to highlight memories of Ranger football and part two of our 2004 season. If you recall, on our last episode, we showed some dramatic game-changing plays from the second, third, and fourth round playoff games, and those plays set the stage for today's show concerning the semifinal game and the state championship game itself. So let's get right to it. In the state semifinal game, Smithson Valley is going to take on Clear Lake, kind of a surprise team, a surprise opponent. They had upset Katy the previous week to set up this showdown, and Smithson Valley won the flip for the site of the game, and the game is back in the Alamo Dome with the winner advancing to the state championship game. Clear Lake runs the wishbone on offense. And it was an offense that we had not seen in years. And it was a strange game. Smithson Valley really is dominating statistically. Clear Lake's having a hard time moving the football. Smithson Valley's moving the ball up and down the field, but having a difficult time finishing drives with points. So the game is tight, and into the second half we go. And, Joe Pawelek, who we had on last week, our last show, I think he had 24 tackles that game and maybe played his best game ever at Smithson Valley. But the play of the day was not made by Joe Pawelek. Instead, it was made by our next two guests. Eryk joins us today, and Eryk was an all-state defensive lineman for us that year and went on to start for the University of Alabama and made the key play in their national championship game of 2009. So, Eryk, thank you for joining us today.
I appreciate you guys having me.
You bet. Great to see you again. And we're going to talk about what you're up to later in the show. But, Eryk, we're about to see the play that turns this game around. And, Ray Corona gets all the headlines for it, I guess. We'll bring Ray on in a minute. But you're about to cause a fumble that's returned for a touchdown. And scooping up the fumble and scoring for us on that play is Ray Corona. And Ray's also joining us today. Ray, good to see you.
Good to see you, Coach Hill. Thanks for having us.
You betcha. Well, guys, you two guys, let's take our first look at this play, and then we'll back it up and turn it around. Eryk, you take a look at this from your perspective. We've got Clear Lake coming up in the wishbone. Eryk puts the hit on him. The ball comes loose, pops up. Ray takes it on one hop right there, and he's going 62 yards the other way for a touchdown. And that ends up being the deciding factor of the game. And Eryk, let's go back and let's look at it again. There you are with a circle around you. Now, you played outside linebacker at Alabama for the national championship, but we're so smart, we played you at defensive tackle. So, that tells you a little bit about us. But take us through this play. What are they trying to do to you?
They're doing a lot of tricky stuff, a lot of misdirection stuff with that wishbone right there. But my read is that offensive guard right there in front of me. And when he goes down, I put my eyes to the backfield and, try and locate the ball and, really didn't know who had the ball. So I think I hit both of them and neither one of them ended up having it and set Ray up for that big play.
Well, let's take a look at it. You're right. That guard goes to block Joe. Joe's actually at the top of that, and they're leaving you alone. They're reading you. Okay, I'm going to let that run. Now, see right here, you got the fullback going inside, the quarterback going outside, and they're going to try to make you choose. Like you say, well, you know what? I'll just hit them both. Pretty talented play.
Better safe than sorry.
You betcha. And the ball comes loose. Can't see it. It's just on the other side of the white shirt. Now, Blaine Ertley and Michael Kovar, they're fighting over it, but they can't get it. They're going to set up their good buddy Ray, and they knock the ball loose. It kicks in the air. Ray Corona comes up from his safety. Ray, what are you thinking right now?
I mean, throughout that week, you had a coaching staff that was phenomenal, and our defensive coaches, everybody knew exactly what they were doing that week. We had keys, and like Eryk was talking about his key, and we all knew what we had to do, and we just played fast. We didn't really think about it. But early, forever grateful for old Blaine Early for popping that thing up like Coach Braun used to do every week. I think I'll probably still do that every week. And just kind of picked it up and scored like we were taught. Yeah.
There it is. Knocked it loose. Take it on a hop. Now what are you thinking? Man, that was a long way.
Yeah, my wife actually asked me that the other day, and I was like, I don't really know what I was thinking. You know, I'm just like, I wish Eryk would run a little faster and block for me a little bit more, but.
Well, Nathan Guerra's going to get a block for you right here. He's going to get knocked on his head. But
Eryk's awesome. Yeah, Nathan was a phenomenal football player. He always came up with big plays, and the thing I liked the most about it was we always celebrated for each other. And
you bet. There's old Kendall Volts, first to arrive. Kendall and Eryk. There's Michael Kovar. Trey Rios going to say, yeah, there comes Andrew. Moxie.
We had a good time.
You bet. Except for Joe. He's going over and resting. Yeah.
Joe tired.
Yeah,
Joe had a game of his life that day. 24 tackles. That's insane. So
yeah, it is. It is. Well, guys, 18-10, we win. And that play was key, maybe in the one that put it away. And semifinal championship is ours, and we're on to the state championship round 7 days later. So a play for the ages. And now we're going to move on to Texas Stadium the next week to take on South Lake Carroll for the state championship. Carroll was a rematch from the state championship game two years earlier, 2002, where they had beaten us in the finals, beaten us fairly soundly, actually. And 2 years later, it's a rematch. But Carroll's not only undefeated and ranked number one in the state, they are ranked by polls as the number one team in the nation. So I think very few people outside of our own program gave us much chance. But, I think when we got on the bus Friday, we weren't going up there to prove that we belonged. We weren't going up there to prove that we could hang with somebody. You guys can shed some light on that. But, Eryk, I think we were going up there thinking we were going to win, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. I even, the night before the game, I remember, man, you gave the speech, and it was like the first time I had heard you yell. And everybody kind of like dozing off in the meeting or whatever. Then boom, you gave this really, heart-moving speech, and I think that just really motivated the team to go out there and perform like we did on that day.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
Don't tell us we can't do it.
That's right.
Some of y'all's memories probably a little bit better than mine, but I just remember just like being startled in the meeting, like, oh, I better pay attention to what he's saying.
Well, for one thing, they gave us that little bitty meeting room. If you recall, there was supposed to be a big meeting room. They crammed us in a little one, so I was in a bad mood, so maybe that's why I yelled. But good. I'm glad it had a good effect. But I don't think Carroll and most of the 28,000 that were there thought it was going to go like it went. And we had a great week of practice. We had a good plan. We had a unified team, marched in the stadium that day. The lead went back and forth throughout the afternoon. The television audience and the crowd, I think, was soon realized it's not what they thought it was going to be. It was a war. And the score's tied. It's in the fourth quarter. South Lake Carroll's lining up to punt again. They hadn't punted much all year. It's about the fifth punt of the game. Eryk is on, and we're going to ask Joe Pawelek to join us as well. Joe, thanks for being here today.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
We stopped them on their end of the field. Let's go to the screen. They're on the 24-yard line, and let's start with Joe. Joe, what about this game? How are we getting these guys to fourth down so often? What do you remember about this?
I just remember being happy we were getting another shot at these guys. Playing them back in San Antonio in 2002, that was we were still confused on what that wide angle film was for, and we had a couple years on us. I was thinking about this as we were getting ready for this today, and I remember we were still pushing around those little video carts. Remember, we didn't have all this digital stuff, and we were still off season, and I remember seeing South Lake Carroll versus whoever they were playing film. We were ready for these guys, and you guys obviously were too, and we had a good group. We had a bunch of guys who could play on the defensive side, and we were ready for Chase Daniel and whoever else they were going to throw at us. And yeah, it was just a special time.
It was, and it's tied. There's about 8 minutes to go in the game. Eryk is going to make a play for the ages here. Eryk, we're going to point you out here. What are you thinking? He's right. You're right in the middle of the formation here. They're going to punt. Did you have any idea what was fixing to happen?
Nah, but I know that we had a block call. I forgot the name of the call, but man, you never know when your number is going to be called or when the play is going to happen. That could change the course of a game. So offense, defense, special teams, the whole team. I just remember everybody playing, lights out every play. And man, it just turns out that this was my time.
Well, let's look at it. You're fixing to make a play that makes everybody's hair on the back of their neck stand on end. Here we go. Eryk's in the middle. I'm going to let it run through one time. He's clean. Here he comes. He's going to go just to the left of that blocker. The kick is blocked off the face mask. One hop in the air, pick it up. 8 minutes to go. We're 7 points ahead. Everybody's wondering what's going on. You can see the elation of our team. I don't think we had to convince ourselves that we could win. I don't think it was that. I just think, maybe some other people thought that this may not go like they thought it would. All right, let's take it another step here. Now, there you are. There's 3 guys in the middle, and they have 2 blockers. And the concept, well designed by Coach Michigamba and Coach Westerfer and others, we're going to put 3 over 2, and somebody's going to be clean. So as the camera rolls, they block 2. There's Eryk, and there's Truxton Fox, one of our defensive ends. And that man with the circle, he's going to block 1. The other guy's going to block the kick. That's how it's supposed to go. Obviously, he blocks Truxton, which frees up Eryk. And here we go. That ball's kicked right into the face mask. Take it on a hop. There's the ball, and it gets one more convenient hop. We pick it up and take it. So we got the television view following up. Got to see Mr. Palos jumping up and down there. Give a shout out to Mr. Palos. Here it is from the television view. You can see the big hole that was created, the opportunity there. Bam. One hop. I can still feel it.
Yeah, that I wish there was a little bit less time left in the game. But, at the moment, man, just a spectacular feeling to, not just for myself, but for the team to put us in a position to win in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
It's just it's great when the play runs just as you draw it up.
You bet. Well, Carroll later goes and ties a score and kicks a field goal on the very last play of the game for them to win the state championship. And, tough way to end. But, when in football history does somebody score 4 weeks in a row on defense and special teams? And what a special group you guys were. And I want to go away from the video now and bring you all back. And, let's start with the players. Ray Corona, who had that scoop and score against Clear Lake. Well, what do you remember most about the 2004 experience, Ray?
Well, I really enjoyed your first episode about that 97 team, and I thought there was a lot of little brothers and little cousins and on that 04 team. And if you weren't part of that little brother, little cousin, you were there on a Friday night, that 97, 98. We were freshmen and sophomores for that 01, 02 state finals. And, we had a leader like Joe and Sendejo and Anders, and we had so many great people. And it was just we just all got together that for 5 months and just try to write our story. So yeah, it was a fun ride, man. We had a good time.
Now, what are you doing now, Ray? Tell the audience what you're doing. They remember you as 18 years old running that fumble back, but what are you up to now?
Right. No, I thought about what you and all the other coaches kept telling us in meetings about how y'all have never worked a day in your life and how y'all are coaching. And so I said, you know what, that sounds pretty good. So I'm coaching a middle school over at Danville Middle School right now, over at Comal ISD, and having a great time. Go Wolves! And we're having fun. And man, I talk about Eryk and Pawelek and Anders and how man, they have reached so much success, but you wouldn't find 3 other guys that worked as hard as them. So everything they get, they deserve, because they've grind for a while now. So it's nice to see them.
Awesome. Andrew, you've had so many moments, in college football and the NFL, but where does this 2004 experience rank for you?
It's definitely up there amongst all the football memories that I have. And I think the special thing about high school football is it's like the guys that you grew up with, that you have so many other stories outside of football. When you get to college and to the NFL, it's really just the stories that happen, on the field. So it's really just out there like playing with your boys, like the guys that you grew up with. And that makes it that much more special. And I think when you see the guys making plays and everyone's running over there to celebrate together, that's what really stands out a lot to me on these clips that you don't really see it anymore. Guys doing their own individual dance, but as soon as anyone made a play, you'd have 15, 16 guys sprinting over there and just smacking them in the head. It was almost exhausting to make a play because you were just getting mauled. But I remember you guys saying that all the time, to celebrate as a team. It's just demoralizing to the opponent to just see everyone to feed off that energy. But yeah, it's one of the special memories I have in my football career.
It's a brotherhood, there's no doubt. And Eryk Anders, you've had, obviously other memorable moments, the sack and forced fumble that won the national championship for the University of Alabama in 2009. So clearly you've had some big moments. But what about 2004 at Smithson Valley? Where does that sit with you?
Man, all the guys on that team are my brothers for life, man. A lot of camaraderie on that team. Everybody was for each other. And it's just not like that in college, or in the NFL and whatnot. So, just the fact that everybody had each other's back, and no matter what anybody was going through or whatever on a personal level, like there's always, the team was always there for those guys.
Well, tell the audience, a lot of us know what you're up to now, but tell everybody what's going on in Eryk Anders' life now.
I'm currently fighting in the UFC, doing that MMA fighting. I fight Saturday, May 16th here in Jacksonville, Florida. So, just sitting in a hotel room cutting weight, not feeling too good. But, there's we'll see what happens on Saturday. I'll go out there and get my hand raised.
Well, let me tell you something. There'll be a lot of people in the Smithson Valley area pulling for Eryk Anders. I don't know who that other guy is, but my money's on you. I've seen.
I think he's Joe's cousin.
Oh, yeah. Well, he is Polish, and he does have a lot of consonants in his name. I can't pronounce it. But speaking of Polish, Joe, you had a lot of memories at Baylor. All-American football career at Baylor. So clearly, it wasn't all at Smithson Valley, but golly, you had all the brothers and cousins that played, and then you got to play. What did this season and these plays mean to you?
Yeah, I think just like Ray said, this is finally your chance to write your story. And, it's it. I would echo Andrew too, just to have an opportunity, just to have your guys and to be out there and playing with great effort, exhausted, but just having it was a blast. And it was, this is just a lot of fun just to kind of rehash some of that stuff. And then just to also rehash just our friendships that we have with our coaches too. I think that's very unique. Have such a core group of great leaders, of great teachers that, you don't have to be playing in the next level to be loved, to be coached hard. And those are special times that now here we are, 33 years old. I have 3 little ones, a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And you're saying, what in the world is going on? And just like our own parents, we'll find ourselves saying the same things. I'll tell my little ones, well, you got to control what you can control. It's like, oh no, I'm turning to Coach Hill. It's like, these are just special relationships and special times. It was just a blast.
Well, let me tell you something. You guys were special. Your teammates were special, and this was a special season. And y'all had guys that came before you that showed you the way, but you guys should know that you showed our guys the way, our future guys the way, and you're still showing guys the way. And I want to thank all 4 of you for coming on. Coach Muchigamba, Coach Westerfer, I thank y'all for helping us be here too and reliving this special team. Ranger football, 2004, a year for the ages. Ranger fans, thank y'all for watching today's episode. More to come. We'll see you next time.